You've probably been hearing quiet talks about the economy slowing down. The news media tends to soften the message, calling it a slowdown, while economists describe it as just temporary turbulence, something that will pass soon. But if you look at what everyday people are experiencing, the story feels very different. Prices at the grocery store and gas station keep rising, many jobs feel uncertain, and a growing sense of worry is spreading in communities everywhere. Now, what if I told you that we might already be living through the very early stages of a global recession, a serious economic downturn that no one is warning us about loudly enough? This isn't just speculation. Signs are all around us, but they often don't make the headlines or get explained in a way that really matters to your daily life. In this video, I will guide you through these hidden signals that many people miss. More importantly, I will show you how to prepare and protect your personal finances before it becomes too late. This isn't about fear, it's about being smart, informed, and ready for what lies ahead.
We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky.
The early signs were already in it.
Most people believe a recession is something that gets officially announced by governments or financial institutions. They wait for that formal declaration before they start to worry. But the truth is, by the time a recession is officially declared, much of the damage has already happened. The economy has already slowed, jobs have been lost, and many people are already feeling the impact. So instead of waiting for that announcement, let's take a closer look at the signs happening right now around us, signs that suggest we aren't just anticipating a recession, but we are already living through its early stages. First, inflation remains stubbornly high despite central banks raising interest rates multiple times. This means everyday costs like groceries, rent, and insurance have not gone back down to the levels we saw before the pandemic. In many places, these prices are still climbing, making it harder for families to keep up with monthly expenses. Second, we are seeing mass layoffs happening quietly but steadily across various industries. Large technology companies, logistics and shipping firms, and even some banks have started cutting jobs. These layoffs are not random or temporary. They reflect a drop in consumer demand and companies tightening their budgets to prepare for tougher times ahead. Third, consumer savings are disappearing quickly. During the pandemic, many people received government stimulus checks and had fewer opportunities to spend money on travel or entertainment, which helped build savings. Today, however, many are turning to credit cards to cover basic expenses and their savings rates are dropping sharply. This rising debt and shrinking savings are clear warning signs that people are struggling financially. And finally, panic buying has returned, but it looks different than before. It's no longer about stocking up on toilet paper. Now, people are rushing to buy assets like gold, cryptocurrencies, and even bulk food supplies. This shift shows a deeper lack of trust in the economy's stability and a fear that things could get worse. These events are not isolated or unrelated. When taken together, they form a clear picture of economic trouble, a picture your local news might not fully explain, but one that your own budget and daily life already reveal.
Why the average person feels it first.
When a recession begins, the wealthy and corporations react differently than most people. Millionaires start tightening their investment portfolios by shifting money into safer or more strategic assets. Big companies cut budgets and prepare for reduced profits. But for the average person, the effects of a recession are felt immediately and personally, in real time, at the grocery store checkout, at the gas station, and in the uncertainty of their job security. Why does the average person feel the impact so quickly? The answer is simple: most people live closer to the financial edge. A small increase in the price of food, rent, or utilities is not just a number or a statistic. For many, it means deciding whether they can afford dinner tonight, pay their bills on time, or even fix their car if it breaks down. These small changes add up and quickly become major financial stress. The second reason is job vulnerability. During recessions, layoffs usually target hourly workers and middle management first. These are the people who typically do not have passive income or multiple streams of revenue. They rely almost entirely on their paycheck to cover expenses. Because they live paycheck to paycheck, they are the first to lose their jobs and often have little financial cushion to fall back on. Third, the average person has limited access to advanced financial tools and opportunities. Wealthy individuals can move their money into assets that tend to outpace inflation, such as real estate, dividend-paying stocks, or gold. They often have financial advisors and a variety of investment options to protect and grow their wealth. On the other hand, many average people either don't know where to start with investing or simply do not have extra money left over to invest after covering basic needs. Recessions are not fair. They hit hardest those who are already struggling to keep up financially. Without preparation or a safety net, the average person feels every financial setback more sharply and more painfully than those who have built a cushion. This unequal impact is why recessions deepen inequality and why financial preparation is so critical for anyone who wants to protect themselves.
The mistakes that make recessions worse.
When panic takes over during a recession, many people make emotional and rushed decisions. These choices often seem like the safest at the moment, but they can end up costing much more than just money. In fact, the wrong moves can delay your financial recovery by years or even decades. Mistake number 1 is slashing everything, including your investments. When fear strikes, it's common for people to stop spending on anything that seems non-essential, and that includes their investments. But if you are invested in broad index funds or have long-term holdings, selling during a market dip means you lock in your losses permanently. This is exactly the opposite of what experienced and wealthy investors do. They usually hold their positions or even buy more shares at lower prices to benefit when the market recovers. Selling at the bottom guarantees you miss the rebound. Mistake number 2 is increasing high-interest debt. To keep up their lifestyle, many resort to swiping credit cards or taking out personal loans during tough times. This adds more pressure on their future income and makes it much harder to escape the downturn. In a recession, your main job is to survive financially, not to maintain appearances or spend beyond your means. Taking on expensive debt can trap you in a cycle that's very difficult to break. Mistake number 3 is doing nothing at all. Some people freeze completely. They don't create a budget, don't plan, and don't adjust their financial strategy. They simply wait for things to get better on their own. But recessions reward those who act proactively, who manage their money carefully, and who find ways to adapt. Passivity only makes the situation worse. These common missteps don't just damage your bank account. They also hurt your confidence and sense of control. And sometimes, recovering that confidence can be much harder than recovering lost money. Being aware of these pitfalls is the first step to avoiding them and protecting your financial future.
What the wealthy do differently in a recession.
While most people react to recessions by tightening their belts and panicking, the wealthy take a very different approach. They don't just survive recessions, they often use these periods to grow their wealth even faster. This is because they understand how to turn challenges into opportunities. First, the wealthy don't cut their investments during downturns. Instead, they increase them. Recessions create rare buying opportunities that don't come around often. Stocks are available at discounted prices, real estate sellers become more willing to negotiate, and solid businesses often become undervalued. While many see a recession as a reason to pull out of the market, the wealthy see it as a clearance sale where they can pick up valuable assets at a bargain. Next, they stay liquid but in a strategic way. Yes, the wealthy keep more cash on hand during uncertain times, but it's not just to hoard money. They call this dry powder, cash reserve specifically to deploy when the right opportunity arises. They know that cash alone is not king. Instead, timing and strategy with that cash make all the difference. Another key difference is how they manage their lifestyle. The wealthy don't simply cut back on everything. They reduce lifestyle expenses that don't contribute to their growth, but they continue to invest in skills, networks, and opportunities that will compound over time. While others pull back and shrink their activities, the wealthy keep building their future. Finally, they follow a clear plan, often one they prepared well before the crisis hit. The wealthy don't guess or panic in real time. They anticipate recessions, have checklists, trusted advisors, and frameworks ready to activate when needed. This planning gives them confidence and clarity when others feel lost. This mindset shift is what separates most people from the wealthy. Most people react and scramble. The wealthy prepare and act strategically. And this difference is what makes all the difference in not only surviving a recession but coming out stronger on the other side.
What you can start doing right now.
You don't need millions to act smart in a recession. What you need is clarity, discipline, and a solid plan. Start by auditing your finances. Know where your money goes each month. Cut the noise, not the essentials. Cancel unused subscriptions and delay big, non-critical expenses. The goal is simple: take control of your cash flow so you know exactly what's coming in and going out. Next, build a real emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living costs in a separate account. This isn't fear, it's freedom. That buffer lets you stay calm and make better choices when others panic. Then, stay invested, but wisely. Don't sell out of fear. Try dollar cost averaging, invest a fixed amount regularly in index funds or ETFs. Markets often rebound when you least expect it. Also, use this time to upskill. Learn digital tools, explore AI, or sharpen your financial literacy. The more valuable your skills, the more secure your income becomes. And protect your focus. Avoid fear-based news and doom scrolling. Instead, invest your time in learning, building, and staying close to people who inspire growth. Recessions reward those who are prepared. It's not about being fearless, it's about being steady when others freeze.
How to stay ahead when recession hits.
The truth is, recessions are a natural part of the economic cycle. They are not the end of the world, nor a sign to give up hope. Instead, they act as a filter that separates those who react out of fear from those who act with strategy and foresight. Most people panic when the economy slows down. A smaller group prepares quietly and thoughtfully. And those few who prepare often come out stronger and more resilient on the other side. You don't need to be a financial expert or have a crystal ball to predict the future to protect yourself. What matters is that you choose to act smarter than the average person does today. Taking thoughtful steps now can make all the difference for your financial well-being later. So here's my question for you: what's one financial decision or move you have made recently that you feel proud of? Maybe you started budgeting, built some savings, or learned a new skill. Whatever it is, share it in the comments below. Or if you're still unsure about what to do next, tell me that too. I read every comment and I want to hear from you. If this video helped you gain clarity or gave you a fresh perspective on handling tough economic times, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. This way, you won't miss any of the next episodes because this series is just getting started and there is much more to learn. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay informed, stay intentional with your choices, and always stay ahead of the curve.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take.